Hey guys and welcome! Today I want to draw your attention to another tactical shooter game that is free to play on PC for the next few days, so it might be interesting for you. The game is World War III and I think most of you have at least heard of it or even played it already back then when it was released for the first time. Now the game will be released again after several months of redesign and will also go free to play. At the moment, it's usually in closed beta that you can only access by purchasing one of the closed beta packages, but over the weekend until Monday the 7th, there is a public playtest to stress the servers and everyone can take part in it. So I will tell you a bit more of what the game is about and how its mechanics work, and then show you how you can get access to it. Like I already mentioned, World War III was originally released in October 2018, but after a lot of ups and downs, bugs, technical issues and so on, it was removed from the stores about 2 years later. In November last year, the game relaunched on Steam and is in closed beta since then, but is scheduled to be fully released at some point in March as a free-to-play title. At its core, World War III is a classic first-person shooter with a modern setting that reminds me a lot on a mix of Battlefield 3 and 2042, but with a bit more hardcore shooter feeling. The time to kill is fast, you have to peek around corners, weapons feel heavy and responsive, and teamplay is not only helpful but essential. You can't just run and gun, but it's also not a milsim. It feels a bit like Enlisted with a modern scenario. A bit clunky in movement, but you can crouch sprint, slide, and just like 2042, it also has a normal and a traversal sprint. Also, there's no destruction or interactive objects. The maps in general are well designed and provide a good amount of cover for sneaky flanks, but they also feel a bit static. For the time of the open playtest, but also for the closed beta in general, there are 2 different modes available and 4 different maps. There's Team Deathmatch that can be played on 3 smaller maps and in rounds. So for each round your team has to reach a score of 50 kills, and when you win 2 of 3 rounds you win the match. The second mode is Tactical Ops, and that can be compared to the classic Conquest mode of Battlefield, or actually Conquest mixed with Chain Link. Cause in this mode there are several objectives and you always have to capture 2 of them to build up a chain. It's a 40 against 40 mode and the maps also fit the size of these lobbies. There's no non-stop action, but you also don't feel like you're playing a walking simulator. So it's kept pretty simple also in terms of UI design, but that also makes it more intuitive. As usual, you can customize your soldier with different cosmetics and unlock several attachments to upgrade the arsenal of available weapons. At the beginning you can only customize your weapons outside of a match, but later on you can even swap attachments on the fly when you are on the map, so basically like it is in Battlefield 2042. And to be honest, while playing World War III I was wondering who copied the game of the other one. In addition, there are also so-called strikes available with which you can call in a number of armored vehicles, tanks and aircrafts, or artillery fire with different kinds of bombings. To call these strikes in, you have to collect strike points by capturing and defending objectives or resupplying and healing teammates. So basically World War III feels like a mix of different mechanics from all kinds of shooter games and is taking something from every one of them. But that's not bad, quite the opposite. It makes the game so easy to access and learn cause it's just like you've seen all of this already, but in different settings. Of course the game is not perfect as well and there's also bugs and issues, but it's in closed beta and the developers are constantly updating it. It's also not the alternative to Battlefield like I heard from some other content creators, but it's a solid shooter that is definitely worth a try. The only negative point for me that I also recognized right from the start is that the game has a really strong grind for leveling up and unlocking new weapons and attachments. That's something I'm not a big fan of, but at the end of the day this will be a free-to-play game and there will of course be things like battle passes, XP boosts and so on to speed this up, if you pay for it of course. But we all know that this is how it works with free-to-play games. But to be honest, if the game is good and I'm having a good time, I'm also willing to spend a bit of money on it. So at its core, it's definitely an enjoyable game, and what I personally like about it is the more military and hardcore shooter feeling, the simple gameplay mechanics so you can actually focus on gunfights without being distracted by too many effects, explosions and whatever else, the size and design of the maps, and also the good gunplay in general. If you want to try the game yourself, you can either request access to the playtest on Steam or you simply download it with the My Games launcher. I know it's always a bit annoying to have another one of those launchers on your PC, but that's the only way to access it. Even if you use Steam to request the playtest or to buy one of the closed beta packages, it will redirect you to the My Games launcher to download and play it over there. I heard that there have been some issues with the download speed yesterday, but I hope this is solved by now. One tip if you decide to give the game a try: if you get motion sickness from video games sometimes, then you should definitely turn down the camera shake and the head roll in advanced gameplay settings, and the field of view change while running in the video settings, cause this can be pretty annoying. And that's it for today. Tell me in the comments below if you know the game already, if you have played it back in 2018 or now, and what you think of it. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more content like this. Until then, thanks for watching. I'm the Catwoman and you are awesome.